Welcome back to my video tutorials. Today I'm looking at a program called Ghotit Real Writer and Reader 9. Now it's a great assistant to assist you in a number of ways. One, it actually does text to speech for you, so that way you can proofread back your work. It does your grammar and your punctuation, and also does a spell check, and also does synonyms. Now if you really want to expand your vocabulary when you're doing essays or writing, then that's really handy to use. Now I'm not going to go through the whole program, just give you some basics to get you up and running. You can make a decision if you like it or not. Before we start, I want you to select settings at the top here. Now I'm going to go back to English first, select your correct dictionary. In this case I've got UK English. Now again, I'm not going to go through it all, but I'm going to throw some options at you that could be useful for now. Select floating, and you can choose the toolbar at the top here, whether you want it to be visible or not, because it might get in your way as you're working. Select that and you can hide that toolbar if you want. I prefer to have the toolbar there so I can see it. Also, you can select anything there you don't want. Now the other good option here is prediction. This will predict words as you type. Now you're going to ask me, well, how does it know what to predict? Well, you can improve that by adding vocabulary of words specific to what you're studying or what you're writing, which I'm going to show you quickly now without going into detail so you can get up and running. Now we've got two options, learning and topics, to do with prediction. So I'm going to select learning first, and let's type in a subject you might be doing. So I'm just going to type in science, for example, and then we're going to add that by selecting plus. Now it's telling me there's no words yet, because we need to add the words that are relevant to whatever subject you're doing. So I'm going to select OK. So now I need to add those words, but I haven't got them yet. But I've got a website here. Let's just say, for example, let's move that to the right. I want to use this abstract. Some of these words that might be relevant to science, in this case, flat space-time. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to Control-C and copy it. Now, I'm going to minimize website and open up a folder I created earlier. You can put this anywhere you want. It doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to right-click and select New and select Text Document. We need a text document for this. Now you can rename it, so I'm just going to rename this site. You can put it Pacific if you want. I'm going to double tap it to open it. Now I'm going to paste Control-V that text in. So if I come back here, so all that text should now be in there. I'm going to close it and select Save. So this is in my Documents Prediction Vocab folder. So I'm going to select Learn from File. And I'll go to my Documents, and I'm going to select Prediction Vocab. So go down alphabetically. There we go. Open it up. I'm now going to add it. It's told me it's added 6 new words that it doesn't know. Click OK. And those are the words added. And you can see they are you can see those words are specific to the topic you're doing. So now what I could do, let's just say you're writing an essay on that subject. I could go to topics. You can say, right, I'm going to select that subject of words over there. I'll click on it, actually speak it for you.
Science.
If you want to listen to it back. But now you've got all those words. So when you use prediction, which I'll show you in a minute, it will then more like to pull out those words as you type to make it more relevant to what you're studying. So really simple but effective. So what I'm going to do is close this window. Let's get down to the program. You can use Ghotit with any application where you can copy and paste. Some PDFs you can. Most word processors like Word, for example, Google Docs, Pages will all work lovely with this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up a blank Word document. I'm going to paste that text in there that I copied earlier from that website and scroll up. And what I want to do is create a few spelling errors in there. That will do, for example. Now after you've been typing or doing an essay or assignment, you need to check it for a number of options. And I know you've got Grammarly, which is really good, I think, and Ginger, which is also good. But you want something all in one, and this offers that. So I'm going to highlight part of that text just for this demonstration. Now instead of doing Control-C, I could just one key, F6, which will copy it straight into the application editor for you. Give it a little while to load in.
Correct your text and apply the corrections.
And click OK. So I'm going to maximise that window so we can see that better. So now I'm ready to do a spell check on it. Now as you can see, it's underlined information already. Now it's important what these colours represent. So example, red is telling me it's been spelt incorrectly. Blue, saying to me the words may be misused. Also, if you have a green, that's a punctuation or grammar issue. And if it's grey, it's words that might need to be merged together or compounded together. So bear those colours in mind, help you go through it quicker. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to the first one, which is here, generalisation. Now I'm going to do a left click on it. If I click on generalisation here, and then hover over generalisation, just hover over and it will speak back that word for you automatically. On the right gives you the definition of that word. If you need to hear it back again,
generalisation.
Select that option.
The meaning is something general.
Now you've got the British version of generalisation and the American version. So I'm going to select generalisation with an S, and it spell check that for me. Now the next option, you might look at it and go, well actually is that a spelling issue? Well no, not really. If I right click on it, because it might be a name, for example. So in this case I'm just going to put
add to ignore suggestions.
Ignore suggestion, but if you're using that word constantly you could add to dictionary, it's up to you. But I'll just put ignore for now. And then I'm going to go into my next word. Now I'm going to jump automatically along here to where it's underlined green and do a left click. Now it's telling me there's a grammar or punctuation issue there, and you can see where it is there. But in the context of what I was doing, it might necessarily be wrong. So bear in mind when you're correcting, just don't go through correct. Just check what context it's in. But I'm going to select
representations
as a correction. Now once you've done all your checks, we can come to the right and select this little phrase here. Select it and it should put it back in your document with the corrections. Left click and there you go. As you can see, I didn't cover all the spellings and grammar, and it'll correct it for you. Now I'm going to go back to that text editor. So I'm going to highlight that text again and press F6 on the keyboard. Another option is you might want to read it back after you've done the corrections or before. All you do is click this little speaker option
Some
on the left.
recently discovered exact conservation laws for asymptotically flat gravitational fields are discussed in detail.
And click it again to stop. So that way you can proofread back your work to make sure, not just for spelling issues, just to make sure the context makes sense in what you're typing. I like that option because it highlights it. It's much easier to follow. You can on the internet, by the way, if I open up Google, you can do the same here. So I have to highlight the text, and I come up to my little floating toolbar, place it where I want, and select the play button.
Some recently discovered exact conservation laws for asymptotically flat.
And click stop, it will do the same. Downside with that, it doesn't highlight, so it's a bit harder to follow. But that's not an issue. If you need to follow it by highlighting it, highlight it again, and select this little option here.
Some recently discovered exact conservation laws for asymptotically flat gravitational fields are.
I'll click pause at the top, or stop, or jump forward or backwards as well. So that's a nice little option. Now in this option as well, you've got this little SYN option called synonyms. So I need to find a word where I can find a different synonym to. How about I come up to here and select exists and select synonym. And there you go, give me some synonyms of that word. Not all of them might be relevant, but you can choose if one is relevant. But I'm happy with exists anyway. But you can actually play that back by clicking play.
Lives. The meaning is 1. Persons. 2. Is living.
So another little great option there. It's also a good idea once you've done a spell check to redo it by clicking ABC again. Because remember, if you're changing things within a document, then the context of what you've typed may have changed. So you may need to spell check again because the grammar might have changed, so bear that in mind as well. So I'm going to minimise that, pull that to the top, then have a look at the floating toolbar again. So we've got your spell check, and we've got read from your editor and read from the actual document it's in. Here's your prediction option, which I'm going to show you as well quickly. So let's open this again. Clicked on the end. Now I'm going to select prediction by coming to the left here and select
Welcome to Ghotit Editor's Word Prediction.
And click OK. So I'm ready to go. So let's start typing.
In.
So as you can see, I was going to type science. Science has come automatically. So I could select science there or carry on typing. If I come to the right, select
the meaning of
here,
science is accumulated and established knowledge.
And it gives you the meaning of that word.
The second meaning is any branch or department of systematized knowledge.
So now I could actually tap on it or press F1 on the keyboard to put that word in and carry on. So science
of
the
most,
and so on. Now remember I added that vocabulary earlier in your prediction. So if you've added that to your list, it will more likely bring up those words that are relevant to the subject you're doing. So bear that in mind. Another good option is you come across a website or maybe a PDF or somewhere where you can't actually have the information read back or copy it. Obviously you might want to copy stuff, you still need to cite your work as you're doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Google Chrome and I'm going to go to give you an example, go to Google Books. Because you've ever been on Google Books before, they give you extracts from books, but you can be kind of limited to what you can access. So it doesn't let you actually copy it because it's actually put on Google Books as an image. Show you what I mean. So I'm going to select Google Books and I'm just going to type in something general. So I just put science. I'm going to start with a preview, so I'm going to use the first book. And here we go. I'm going to scroll down so I can find an extract from that book. There we go. Now, can you see the little cursor option? It gives me a hand. Hold the left button. I can't copy that or anything. I could take a screenshot, but it's still an image. But this is where you use this OCR, optical character recognition. Left click it once.
Select a text area by mouse. To read it aloud,
click OK, hold the left button and just drag over the information that you want to access. And then click the Enter key.
Zhang was fascinated by eclipses. He wrote, "The sun is like fire and the moon like water." The fire...
Top left hand corner, I can stop that if I want as well. Now I've used that option, I should be able to paste that. So now if I come up the top here and select the Edit button, you can see it's automatically put that into that editing window for me. I can now close this because I can play it back, add prediction to it, come to the right and do a spell check as well. So after you do your spell check, I could highlight all that, Control C or Control A. Well, if I come up here, I can copy there as well, or maybe you want to cut it out, but I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to open up a Word document and then paste that into this Word document. And there's your information. Now there's just one other thing. I'm going to go to settings quickly. Go to settings again. I'm going to select speech because we are kind of limited to voices. But you can actually download voices for your Windows 10. On the Mac it's easy. It's got so many built-in voices anyway. But on Windows it hasn't. Let me show you how to do that. Open up Google Chrome, whatever browser you use. I want you to type in there Windows 10. I want you to type in there for me Windows 10 text to speech voices. Select the top option here. It says how to download text to speech languages for Windows 10. And this will show you how to install them. By the way, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. At the bottom here you've got open source. These are free languages you can use as well, and voices. Here's the link here to download it and it'll tell you how to install that as well. So that'll give you additional voices. And then if you go to settings on Ghotit, and here you can then choose what system voice you want. So there's a quick tutorial on how to use Ghotit. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.